and you see the title, you see the thumbnail. Kind of an interesting, different video today, and if I kind of don't have any words, it's because I'm doing this off the top of my head like I do all my videos. You know, there's no script. Everything is just idea, run with it. So that's what today is. As most of you know, if you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that for Godzilla Fan Freaks, you know that last week I recently just cleaned my whole collection. Took me about a day and a half total, you know, roughly. You know, I want to say somewhere probably within the realm of 15 to maybe 18 hours total, adding up everything. So it took a long time, but it's done. Everything's clean, and it's also getting close to that time of the year to where collection video time. And of course, perfect timing because everything's clean. There's hardly any dust right now because, again, that was just last week. So expect a full collection video to come soon. But today, a very different video, very different topic. And only maybe something my longtime fans might even know or even remember. Do you guys remember Baragon here? I got this Baragon hand puppet from, I believe, the guy, his little, not company, but he called himself Masking Tape Monsters. Very well-known person at G-Fest. I do know that there was some behind-the-scenes stuff that went on with the guy that, you know, definitely painted him in a different shade of light for a lot of people. I personally didn't know the guy. So I have, no quarrels. If anyone's going to comment anything negative, let's just leave that out of here. Because, I always like to just admire something. And this was an art piece, an art form that this guy did. He literally created these hand puppets and many other things all out of masking tape, latex, stuff like that. And a very talented artist. I know he worked on some of the things in Billy DeBose's movie, Godzilla Battle Royale, for anyone out there who knows that fan film, amazing fan film. But, so yeah, I got this at my very first G-Fest, which was 2013. So that was 12 years ago now, right? Because 2023 would have been 10. We're now in 2025, so that's 2 more years. So yeah, going on 12 years this July. That is how old this piece is, at least to my knowledge. I'm not sure when exactly he made it, but I know he made it for the show and he had it for sale. And as you all know, Baragon is one of my favorite kaiju. I love Baragon. Not as big of a fan of the GMK Baragon as I am the Showa Baragon, but anything Baragon is awesome in my eyes. And I was really happy to pick this up for him, from him for $100. And it was a Baragon hand puppet. And when I brought this home, did my G-Fest haul video on it and everything like that. And something that I regret that I never got the chance to do, because that's why I'm making this video now, is I wanted to implement this hand puppet into the channel. Because you know how Goji Fan 93, Chris, for those of you who know his actual name, you know how, he has a hand puppet of Godzilla and he implemented it in his channel. I wanted to do that, but the ideas just never came at me correctly. And I never did anything with this. It mainly just sat on my shelf. I did make a custom stand for it. I welded together myself out of just a piece of steel pipe, put a knob on the end of it, put a plate on the bottom, and then a plate, and then I welded in Baragon's name. And I love the way it came out because it almost looks like Baragon used his, heat ray to write his own name on it. That's kind of how I saw it. So I made a own little stand for it and everything. And I just never did anything with this. And granted, it's not in the most terrible shape, but if you guys can see, he was starting to fall off the stand. Gravity was taking its course, He is kind of deteriorating on the inside, and then he is missing an eye. One of his eyes fell out, so Baragon is now missing an eye. And his ears are kind of, you know, sucking in and warping a little bit. So, I mean, for about 12 years old, this lasted pretty well. And it still looks really good. I'm not gonna quite do away with it just yet. But he is no longer on the shelf where he was. For those of you who have seen my past collection videos or any other videos to where I've taken a gander on in here, he is no longer in that spot up on that top shelf here. And it's because, you know, eventually I am probably just going to toss it. You know, it just like the Godzilla suits and everything like that, that latex, all that stuff, it deteriorates over time. So the fact that, you know, this still looks good after 12 years, and again, that's probably because I never really used it. You know, he never really saw much action, you know what I mean? And I can imagine if I used it more, he'd probably be more worse for wear. Still, though, fantastic artwork, and I just wanted to show him off one last time here on the channel, and kind of a farewell here to Baragon. He's gonna be missed. Again, I'm not quite doing away with it just this second, because I just can't just toss something like this away. I may even try to reattach the eye, because the eye is just held on by a piece of duct tape. So I think I can peel this off and put a new piece of duct tape and get the eye back in there. But just, you know, kind of a sad video, you know, and some regret. You know, I wish I would have implemented Baragon in the channel a little bit more. It especially would have been fun if I would have implemented him these last few years doing my live streams, Kaiju Chill O'Clock. You know, like do a Baragon bit or something, you know, something comedic. You know, that's kind of the ideas I had. It's just nothing ever really landed. And I don't really find myself that much of a funny guy to begin with. You know, my comedy, I don't think is the best. So it was just really hard for me to launch the ideas off the ground with this guy, because I really would have liked to use this guy in like box day videos, or, you know, maybe even like reviews, or, you know, little skits and stuff like that. But, yeah, you know, I'm going to hang on to you for the time being, buddy, but, you know, I'm going to miss you. I miss you too. See, I can't do it. I can't do ventriloquism. That's another thing. I have to practice at that. But, no, so yeah, I just wanted to do this little video for longtime fans and people who remember me getting this. It's going to be time to say goodbye for good to Baragon. I don't really know what I'm going to do with the stand. I really do like the stand. Again, the stand is something I created myself. And so I'm proud of the stand, but I just don't really know what I'm going to do with it at the end of the day, because now it's just a steel pipe on a base and a plate that says Baragon. I mean, that's all it is now. Because I don't want to put him back on the stand, because gravity will continue to take its course, and eventually it'll probably just, you know, rip through, because it literally, as you can see again, almost ripped through that top horn all the way. So I kind of want to preserve this guy for just a little bit longer, but yeah. So anyway, you guys, that's kind of today's video. You know, kind of sad. You know, I do kind of, you know, I am kind of, it is more like I wish I would have utilized this a little bit better. You know, I appreciated the heck out of it. Like, I loved looking at it. It's an amazing, again, it's an amazing piece. It looks fantastic. I mean, if I didn't tell you, or you didn't know the story behind this, I could have told you guys that this was like a prop head or a maquette made by Toho themselves, and you probably would have bought it. You know what I mean? But again, it's just an amazing piece of work. It looks fantastic. And, oh, I am just really sad that I didn't utilize it more with the channel. But that about does it today, you guys, for today's video. Like always, we are Godzilla Fan Freaks. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Go like and follow Godzilla Fan Freaks over on Facebook and Instagram. All that stuff really helps. Baragon Atomic Blast that like button, please. You know, do it for Baragon here. Baragon would really appreciate it. And without further ado, you guys, we are Godzilla Fan Freaks, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.